Hello and welcome. I'm Matthew Stone, and this is Warscope Intelligence, your fast, focused briefing on the stories shaping global security. In the next few minutes, I'll give you the facts, the context, and the timeline. What happened, what's happening now, and what it could mean next. You decide what to think. A war decades in the making finally ignited. And to understand why the Middle East is now on fire, you have to go back. Not just years, but generations. Right now, the United States and Israel are engaged in active military conflict with Iran. Key figures inside Iran's government are dead. Missiles are cutting across the region, and the world is watching, stunned. But none of this came from nowhere. This moment was built, brick by brick, across nearly a century of interference, betrayal, and escalating threats. Here's the timeline they never taught you. It starts in 1951, when Iran chose its own destiny. The country's newly elected prime minister moved to nationalize Iran's oil, to pull it out of British hands and return it to Iranian people. Inside Iran, the decision was celebrated. But in Washington and London, alarm bells rang. At the height of the Cold War, Western powers feared any shift that might benefit the Soviet Union. So they acted. In 1953, the United States backed a coup that tore down Iran's democratic government. The elected prime minister was stripped of power. In his place, Washington installed a monarch, Shah Mohammad Reza Pahlavi, who would rule Iran as a loyal Western ally for the next 2 decades. He stayed close to America. His people did not forgive it. During the Shah's reign, Iran's capital looked almost unrecognizable compared to today. Western culture moved freely through Tehran. Universities expanded. Women dressed without restriction. The U.S. even helped Iran build the foundations of a civilian nuclear energy program. On the surface, Iran was modernizing. Beneath it, resentment was quietly boiling. Then 1979 arrived, and it changed everything. Millions of Iranians flooded the streets. They wanted the Shah gone. Secular citizens despised his authoritarian grip. Religious conservatives despised his push toward Western values. Together, they forced him to flee. Iran's Western-backed monarchy collapsed overnight, replaced by an Islamic Republic, a system where religious leaders hold the reins of government. The man who seized that power was Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, an Islamic scholar who had spent years in exile under the Shah. He ruled until his death in 1989. His successor, Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei, carried that authority forward, until last week, when he was killed in joint U.S. Israeli military strikes on Tehran. The revolution didn't just change Iran's government, it shattered every relationship Iran had with the West. The proof came fast. Iranian students stormed the U.S. embassy in Tehran and held dozens of American citizens hostage for 444 days. The wound never fully healed. In the decades that followed, Iran's new government refused to recognize Israel as a legitimate state. Israel, in turn, accused Iran of using its nuclear energy program as a cover to develop weapons. The evidence remained debated. Iran had accumulated significant stockpiles of enriched uranium, a critical stepping stone toward nuclear capability, but no confirmed weapon. In 2015, a landmark agreement between Iran and 6 world powers temporarily froze the nuclear program in exchange for lifting economic sanctions. It was fragile diplomacy, and it didn't last. In 2018, the United States walked away from the deal entirely. The pressure kept building. Earlier this year, mass protests erupted across Iran. The government crushed them. Thousands died. Then in June 2025, the U.S. struck Iranian nuclear facilities directly, targeting the program at its core. That set the fuse. Less than a week ago, the United States and Israel launched coordinated strikes across Iran. They called it preemptive. Iran called it war. And now, retaliation is already underway across the Middle East. This is not a sudden conflict. This is history finally collecting what was owed. And before you go, if you want clear updates, timelines, and deep context on the world's biggest flashpoints, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next briefing. This is Warscope Intelligence. See you in the next one.